I'm very pleased to have with us today Ashley. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you came here today. You know, I know it was a while back that this accident happened, but if you could take us back to that day. You were coming back from school?
Yep, and I was going to go shoe shopping, and so I had went by myself, and probably a mile past my house I got hit by a drunk driver.
And it was daytime, nighttime?
Daytime. Well, it was afternoon.
Okay.
So.
And when you saw did you see the truck coming across the double yellow line?
No.
You never saw it?
No, it was around a corner, so you can't really see anything. But
so you just got hit, you know, didn't expect anything.
Exactly.
What were your immediate first thoughts?
Well, when
you were talking to your mom on the cell phone, wasn't you?
Yeah, I was talking to my mom, and I had said, like, what the heck? And then the next words I said were, oh my God, and that's all she heard. And that's when I kind of realized that he was coming for me, so I had went into the ditch, and he just kind of hit me when I was in the ditch.
So you saw the truck
at the last minute.
At the last minute and tried to get out of the way.
Yep.
And he ran right directly into you.
Yeah.
And you went in. Then what happened? What do you remember next?
I remember getting woke up by just a bystander and saying that I was in an accident, and I really didn't believe it, but my leg was hurting so bad, and that was about it. So it kind of all hit me at once.
And then, is it right that a ambulance came out there, the Jaws of Life truck or something had to come out and separate you from the car, correct?
They did. There was a bunch of first responders that had to come out. I mean, the damage to her vehicle was so substantial, it required the Jaws of Life to get her out.
While they were working to get you were conscious at this time.
Yep.
What were your thoughts while they were trying to get you out of that vehicle?
Yeah, I didn't really know. The time passed. I guess I was in there for an hour and 45 minutes, but I actually had a cop that was sitting in my passenger seat with me while they were cutting me out, and I had the sheet over us, and we were just talking like nothing was going on.
What a great guy.
Yeah, definitely good.
So he was just telling you to be calm and that sort of thing. It took 45 minutes?
An hour and 45 minutes.
Now you were bleeding extensively.
Yep, from my leg anyway.
So they had put some tourniquet on your leg or something?
I'm not really sure. I know that there was a firefighter. She was a woman. She was holding my leg up.
That's terrific. That's terrific. Then you were rushed to the hospital.
Yep, the first one. And there I was there for, I think, about 2 hours, and said I couldn't do anything for me, and I was actually supposed to be med flight to Madison. Their helicopter was out, so I was taking my ambulance to Madison, where that was the rest of my stay was there.
And that was all within an hour after you got out of the truck, out of your car?
Within a few hours, yeah, correct.
And then you got the news.
It was within a couple days after they tried to perform some surgeries to save the leg that then they told her, unfortunately, they weren't going to be able to save the leg.
Now, you were an athlete at the time. I understand you were a star pitcher for the softball team, correct?
Yep.
So what went through your mind when you knew that they would have to amputate your leg?
Yeah, I was just kind of more like, it wasn't so much about the sports at that time. It was the way people would see me, because, you know, nothing was really, like, there was nobody in wheelchairs or anything at my high school, so I was going to be the outcast, and that was basically most of my worries. So,
so you were worried that people wouldn't accept you because you had this tragic accident.
Exactly.
But the doctors and your dad told you, and your mom told you, this had to be done, right?
Yep. It was either get your leg amputated or die, so.
At 17 years old, wow. So you made that decision, and tell us what you're doing with your life now.
I'm in college. I play wheelchair basketball for UW-Whitewater.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Are you a good player?
I guess.
What position do you play?
Oh, well, I'm more of the big guy, the block. So, and I'm 5'1", so I don't really fit it. But for my amputation, you got to be big. So.
No kidding. That is terrific. I also understand that this kind of gave you some direction in your life about what you want to do with your life, right?
Yeah. I basically went from wanting to be a physical therapist now to wanting to be a prosthetic person. They make the legs, artificial legs, limbs, anything.
I understand that Jason said you give some talks now. You're a speaker?
Yep. I speak for MAD.
Mothers Against Drunk Drivers.
Correct.
Okay. Do you have the occasion of dealing with other young people who have also suffered traumatic injuries?
Well, not so much that have suffered.
Yeah.
I spoke to an area high school by me about drunk driving and prom, and
Yeah.
I also spoke at my campus just as a panel for drunk driving as well.
I'm just kind of curious, after your accident, when you went back to your high school, nobody was ostracized of you, were they?
No.
They will welcome you, right?
Correct.
That's good. And you graduated how long ago?
It's going to be 4 years next year. So.
That's terrific. Well, listen, I really thank you for coming on here. We're going to have your mom on next, and I admire you.
Thank you.
Tremendously. I'm very honored to have with us today Ashley's mom, Karen.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Going back to that night, that afternoon, when your daughter was in the accident, you were actually talking to her on the phone, weren't you?
Yes.
Tell us what happened in that conversation.
Well, Ashley had called me. I was just leaving from work, and she wanted to go shoe shopping. And she always calls me around 5 o'clock, tells me that what she's doing, because I was going to my other job, so she was just catching me up for the day. And all of a sudden, she's just bubbly, and all of a sudden I hear, "Oh my God," and "What the hell?" And that was it. And
so you didn't know at that time.
I didn't know what was going on. I must have redialed 100 times. I felt like 100 times, probably about 10 times. Kept redialing her cell phone.
Did you know where she was approximately, physically where she was?
No. I was trying to figure out where she was when I started finding out where the accident was. Yeah. I just kept calling her because a mother's feeling, you felt like, oh, something happened.
Yeah.
The second call maybe the third call, I called my husband and said something's wrong. I don't know where Ashley is. I don't know what happened. I just knew something happened. Mm-hmm. And finally, Ashley said that she had to tell a gentleman to answer her phone because it was in the back seat someplace.
So the phone was ringing.
Kept ringing because I kept calling because I knew something was wrong.
Yeah. And somebody, a stranger, answered it.
Yeah, and he says, well, she's in an accident. He says, yeah, I know that. I just had that feeling already that something went wrong. I didn't know what was going on. I'm 45 minutes away from anywhere she would have been, 45 to an hour, and I didn't know where she was.
But did they tell you where the accident was?
No.
They wouldn't tell you?
No, we didn't know. We had no clue. My husband was calling the sheriff's department trying to figure out what county she was in, because we're really Jefferson and Walworth and Rock County, all in that area.
Yeah.
And we didn't know which way she went to, wherever she was going. We figured she was going to Janesville. And he kept calling around, and he found the police department, and they sent him to Whitewater, which is our home.
Yes.
And she was only maybe less than a mile from our house.
How long did it take for you to go see her, find out where she was to go see her?
I met her at the hospital.
You did?
Yeah, they finally told me which hospital.
They didn't tell you what had happened yet?
No. I just know she was in a car accident. I just knew that something was wrong. And I met them at Ford's. I was like a half hour early than she was, and this had happened around 5 o'clock, and I was at Fort Atkinson at 6, and I'm waiting for her, and I don't know where she was. Okay. When I got there, I told them that she was coming. And
so when you got to the hospital, what did the doctor say to you?
Not much.
No.
No, it's a small town. I mean, It's a small hospital. I just more or less just had her, just kind of told her about her, because she wasn't talking or anything.
Yeah.
My husband was trying to come there too, and it was just, I didn't know what was wrong. But when my husband and my son and his friends came in the hospital, they looked at me, and I'm looking at them like, don't say anything, because I knew at that point that they knew that something was wrong with her legs and that.
And then she was medevac to Madison, was it?
No, the Fight for Life was already taken. There was another accident that happened in the same area as us, and then they took her in an ambulance to Madison.
Madison, okay.
Yes, and it was about 9 o'clock, I think it was. And we've never been in Madison, so they had to give us a map to show us how to get there.
Right.
And I think first time we all got to start talking to her, it was like midnight.
Right. A couple of days later, then the doctors told you they would have to amputate her leg to save her life, basically.
Well, they were telling us at that night that they were telling us already that there's something definitely wrong with the leg, and she had a broken leg on her good leg, and then they knew something was wrong with the knee and what was going on. So they were just repairing it, trying to get it stable. And then they started telling us about the amputation, that we have to probably make a choice. It was life or death, because she would have had so much complications in that.
That is probably one of the worst situations a parent can ever face.
Yes, it was. I mean, it was a nightmare. I mean, we've never had anything major tragically happen. Your
daughter has recovered, and she is going to school now.
Yes.
How has your opinion changed with the courage that you've seen demonstrated by your daughter in all of this?
My husband and I keep talking, I don't think we could have went through what she did. I mean, she kind of put us all back together. You know, we fell apart, and she put us all back together, just, you know, through everything that was happening. And she's really a good advocate about talking about, you know, drunk driving. And, you know, she was just, you know, on the road at the wrong time.
Yeah. You see a lot of drunk drivers on the road still.
Yes.
Young people, old people, a lot of them getting killed and maimed. What do you have to say to our state legislator, the Wisconsin state legislature, to change the laws to make them tougher so these things don't happen again?
I think the first offense should be the toughest. I really think that if they don't do it the first time, really show them that, you know, there is something out there that, you know, what kind of life they've changed people.
Yes.
You know, it's like, I think by the 5th, 6th that they're finally doing. Yeah. He had three convictions already.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Wow.
And that's, I mean, just little things. You know, everyone knew him in town, what he had done, but...
Yeah. That, you know, you brought this up before, Jason, about the first time is not a criminal conviction. It's just like a parking ticket.
It is, and actually the way the law used to be, even the second time could be that if it was outside of 10 years. So let's say someone had one in the 80s and didn't get another one till the mid-90s. That second one would still be like getting a speeding ticket because if it wasn't within the 10 years, the second one wouldn't be considered a crime.
I'm just curious, does this state have a higher alcohol-related casualties and deaths than any other state in the country?
You know,
per capita?
I don't think so. I don't know. I haven't really done the research. It's clear, though, that these states' laws are some of the most lenient in the country. And you look at the kind of tragedies that we have to read about every day. You know, it's time to make a difference. It's time to take a stand. And this state really needs to have more serious laws to protect its citizens from drunk drivers.
Well, you went through one heck of an experience, and I'm very honored to meet you. I'm glad you came on the show, and I'm very proud of your daughter. And thank you very much for being on the program.
Thank you.
Jason, I can't tell you how pleased I am when I see clients like this come in here, and basically they're so honest, so forthcoming about their feelings towards what you did for them, and these terrible laws you have in the state of Wisconsin need to be changed. When you have cases, and you handle a lot of cases like this, when you have cases brought to you, when do you look to settle a case versus taking it full, you know, right to trial? What is your criteria?
First of all, with respect to these clients, I feel compelled to say, you know, these are people I will never forget. I mean, I wish all my clients were as forthright and honest and hardworking and just as good a people as these people are, and they're people I will never forget. With respect to trial versus settlement, you know, the first thing to look at is what is a reasonable range if you win the case, and what is a range if you lose the case. Then you kind of look at that range, factor in the settlement offer, and see if it takes the risk out of the case for your client. I mean, you always have to be ready to go to trial, but you always want to make sure that you maximize the benefit for your client. So it's kind of a risk-benefit analysis.
Well, thanks to you and your firm, you got a settlement, the maximum they could get, and their life is on track again. And I want to thank you very much for being on the program.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. You can get more